Hello, and welcome to episode number 10 of Todd Plays Farming Simulator on Shamrock Valley. I have done a lot of work off camera on these two fields. Fields number 1 and number 2. I basically was kind of annoyed at how they were like out of sync. They were never both ready at the same time, and I was harvesting them in the middle of the night. I was harvesting field number 1 like in the middle of the night, and it was a mess. So I've actually like done both fields an extra time off camera, like grown them up, harvested them, the whole 9 yards, so that they would be on the same at the same time. They'd both grow and be ready to harvest at the same time. Oh boy, I'm so eloquent today with my words. So now it is, what is 15:41? 15 minus 12 is 3, so it's 3:41 in the afternoon game time, which is later in the day. But I also accelerated time after planting both of these fields, so that they would get to a point where they needed to be weeded and fertilized a second time. So I planted them in the morning, they should be ready to harvest tomorrow morning. And that's just something I do because I'm anal retentive, I guess, or something. I try to get my fields where they're always ready to harvest early in the morning, so that when I start my virtual video game day, I can get up in the morning and harvest my fields first thing, or get workers working on them and everything, and first thing in the morning. And then usually by the time they're done harvesting and planting and fertilizing and spraying for weeds and all these other things to make them ready to just grow, it's late in the day, and I can just accelerate time through the night and go back to normal time the next morning and start the whole thing over again with harvesting the fields. So I think I've got fields number 1 and 2 down to that, or onto that schedule now. So I'm gonna put a worker on this field after I do one circle around it. I'm just doing a circle so there's a border, giving the worker room to turn around as it goes back and forth, because otherwise they can get stuck. And these big fertilizers, or any of these machines that have these giant arms on them, seems like it's easy for the workers to get them stuck in trees and obstacles that are not on the farmland but are close to it. And these fields are kind of tight with the hedges and trees and everything right on the edge. So I just want to try to give the worker a little room to move around. Luckily, because these booms are so long, actually fertilizing these fields doesn't take long at all. Alright, H for worker. And while she does that, I'm going to come over here. Oh, let's see. I was going to buy... Why did I leave this here? I did have to put lime on the fields, I think. Maybe that's why I left it here. I forget why I left it there. Anyway, we're going to, while the worker is spraying that field for weeds, we're going to do the fun part and go sell all that stuff I've harvested, because I've harvested a couple of times, and I've just put all of that grain in storage, and now we can go sell it, and we're finally gonna have a little bit of money. Ever since I started playing on this map, like, I used up the money I started with buying this equipment, and I kind of ran out of money, and I have been dead broke ever since. So this is kind of strange. There's the dumping bay, and also the loading bay is right here in this exact same place. So here we got 65,000 liters of wheat. So we're going to fill this up, and we're going to go sell some wheat. This trailer carries how much? 20,000? 21,000. So that's like, we need to make 3 trips to the store to sell all the wheat we have. which is going to be great because we're going to have so much money by the time we're done doing this. I mean, wheat actually doesn't sell for a ton of money. We just have a lot of it. So I think we'll have enough money to do something fun, to, buy something new or whatever. Going shopping is really when things get exciting, because then you get a new tool. You can do something new and different with it. That's great. Okay, the best price for wheat is the harbor shipping dock. So all the way on the opposite side of the map, the farthest away it could possibly be. But at the harbor shipping dock, it's selling for 1,300 per, I don't know, maybe per liter? Anyway, and it's selling for less than that everywhere else. So it's worth the drive. We're going to go down to the harbor shipping dock, sell some wheat, and then we're going to do it again. And then we're going to do it again one more time. And while we are selling our wheat, the worker is going to be weeding field number 1, and then I'll move them over to field number 2, because it is also needing weeding. See, that's what's great about getting them to be on the same schedule, is they both kind of need the same thing at the same time. And then we have some other fields we could start working on, too. I've been ignoring field number 3. Oh, no! Oh! That was my fault. Well, don't honk at me. You're not even a real person. You're a video game. Shut up. I'm a real person. Oh my gosh. Now other people are honking. Oh, this is quite a traffic jam I've caused. Sorry. You're just going so slow. I was going to pass you. I should have paid attention in the intersection, but I'm a tractor hauling 21,000 liters of wheat. How am I faster than you? You're a car. You should be going much faster than me. Unless I'm just speeding, but come on, guys. Now, obviously, that was entirely my fault. I was passing in an incoming traffic lane at an intersection. I was doing all the driving wrong, but that's okay. It's just a video game. It'll be fine. I guess I'm just not that realistic. Okay, my worker is blocked by an object, so we're going to pull over here. That's a very realistic thing to do when you need to stop or whatever. Oh my gosh. See, now this is exactly what I was talking about, them getting stuck, although this is kind of major. I just meant like the boom, or boon. Are these boons or booms? Anyway, I just thought they might get, like the edge might get stuck on a tree. That was full on in the hedge, off the map, just crazy town. Oh, actually though, are we all done? I think it's finished. Weeds 0%. The map, it's not saying any of this needs weeding anymore. Okay, I don't know why when you finished your job you just decided to go off into the hedge, but you're all done. So good job, you accomplished your goal. I love on these farming machines when they fold up like this and fold out. This is a neat little bit of robotics. Before I played Farming Simulator, I didn't really know anything about farming. I've got relatives who do farming, but I live in the city. I grew up in the city. I haven't seen real life farming very much, except sometimes on TV. Yeah, we can go right through that one. That hedge. I had no idea that farming equipment was this fancy. That it had this kind of like robotics and stuff. Like this is, I don't know. I didn't know that farming equipment was able to fold up and do all these kind of fancy things like it turns out it does. And it's really cool. Alright, should I do a border on this is a really small field, but the interesting thing about this map is how little room there is on the edges. Some of the maps that come with the game, well, the only 2 maps that come with the game, have a lot of wide open spaces, even around the fields. So there's a lot more room to work and stuff. a lot of the custom maps, like this one included, but a lot of the other ones I've played on too, are a lot more just tight with their space. They don't have the wide open spaces that you get. And maybe that's a reflection of where these maps are supposed to be. This is supposed to be in Ireland. Ireland is just not as big a country, just physically, landscape-wise, not as big a country as the United States. I mean, here in the U.S., I think we still have the idea that the western part of the continent is wide open spaces. And I guess it is. I mean, it's not a frontier anymore. It's all bought up and owned by people or the government. You know, it's not just vast tracts of land out there that are not owned by anybody, but it's still wide open spaces. And so maybe that's just what I'm used to thinking about in farming. And the Ravenport map that comes with the game is supposed to take place in America. Not exactly anywhere specific, but it's just generally themed to be an American map. And that's the one I play on the most of the two that come with the game. So maybe that's why it's got more wide open spaces, and that's just what I think of. But yeah, I suppose if you're in a country like Ireland or England, where people have been living there a lot longer and it's not as physically large a landmass, maybe your farms have to be closer together. Anyway, that's a good sized border. Let's go ahead and get a worker to finish this up while we go to the store to sell some wheat and make some money. Wait for an opening in traffic. But then I'm just gonna pass these guys. Unless they all turn left at that intersection, in which case I won't have to do anything illegal. Like go into the oncoming traffic lane to get around them. Hey, yeah, they all turned. Okay. Sweet. I wish the fields were more wide open spaces, but I kind of like driving on these roads that have things along the side of them and stuff. It makes the driving more interesting, and be going around corners and things. Another game I like that's a simulator is Truck Simulator. There's European Truck Simulator and America Truck Simulator, and both of them it's just driving. And so whenever I play Farming Simulator, I always feel like it's kind of like Truck Simulator, except when you get to where you're going, you do something. You know, you get where you're going, and then you stop and do some farming. And then you go do this part is like Truck Simulator again. Whereas in Truck Simulator, all you do is drive places, and then when you get where you're going, you complete your delivery, and then you drive to another place. So I feel like they're a little bit similar. Okay, so where this big green light from the sky is the sell point that had the best price. So we're gonna do a little turn here. There we go. Hit I to unload. We're gonna sell all this. We only had $5,000 when we started this. I'm still using dollars. I should switch it to euro for this map. But I don't know if euro's the right money, but I think it's the only other option this game has. I think this game only uses dollars or euros. And the euro would certainly be closer to the money they use in Ireland than the American dollar is. Like, I don't know exactly if they use euros in Ireland or if they use the British pound or what they do, but I know they don't use American dollars. I'm certain it's something different than that. Oh, kind of a wide turn there, but anyway, I love that going to that sell point brings us over this bridge, through the harbor, through this beautiful city. It's actually a really scenic route. It's such a beautiful map. When we drive into town to sell our goods, it's kind of the only time we really get to appreciate how scenic it all is. Which is just one of the reasons that going to sell your harvest is so much fun. Another reason selling your harvest is fun is because it's just fun to get money. Even if it's just imaginary money, there's just something satisfying about getting paid, even in a pretend video game. So we made $28,000 for a load of wheat. That's actually better than I expected. Usually wheat doesn't sell for that much profit, but Of course, it depends on the market. Farming Simulator has a market that fluctuates the pricing. The pricing is always going up and down. That's why when I go sell, I always have to go look to see where the best price is, because it changes all the time. It's always fluctuating. In fact, if I was really going to play this game optimally, I would say I've got a silo full of wheat, but wheat prices are down right now, so I'm going to wait and sell it when they go back up. I never pay enough attention to know if the price in general is up or down, so I don't do that, but you could if you wanted to really maximize your profits. I just say, oh, I feel like selling my wheat. Who's got the best price right this second? Okay, that's where I'm going. But I really like that they do that they change which store or which place has a better price, because that keeps me going to different places. It keeps me going to different stores around the map. And I think that adds a little variety. That makes it more fun than if I was just always going to the exact same place to sell the stuff. Of course, part of what changes where I go sell is when I grow different crops and stuff too, of course. But even if you do the same crop, you know, one day it'll be a better price one place versus a different place. And that gets you driving all over the map, which lets you appreciate different parts of the map and see different parts of the map and stuff. And that's kind of fun, especially when you play on modded maps. Because the game only comes with 2 built-in maps, I play on modded maps, custom maps, quite a lot, actually. Although my Ravenport game is the one I've spent the most time on as far as a single map. But I download lots of different maps and start new games on them and play around just for the sake of the variety. And when you're on a brand new map and you don't really know where things are and you're kind of trying to figure everything out, it's fun to have a reason to drive to a part of the map you've never been on before. You know, like I could just drive around the whole map on my own for no reason other than to explore the map. But I kind of like having a reason, being like, oh, I've never been over there, but it's got the best price for my barley, so I'm going to go over there and sell my barley. I mean, I just kind of like it when the game gives you a reason to do a thing that is kind of fun and enjoyable to do anyway, but also going to do it will get you paid. I really love that little moat river thing around that building. I think that's one of my favorite features on this map, really. It's just really cool looking. I should drive in first person view, make it more realistic. When I play Truck Simulator, I'm in first person view most of the time. I like being sorry. You know what? He got by. It's fine. Back to first person view. It was really his fault. I had the right of way. He decided to turn right, and I think he ran into my trailer. That's his fault. I don't have to stop for him. He has to stop for me. Huh. I'm so used to driving kind of foolishly that I don't even realize when it's not my fault. I still get upset. Like, oh no, I screwed up. Like, no, you didn't, Todd. You did fine. In the Truck Simulator games, I like this view. I like this view in this game too, because I can see my tractor. I can see the thing I'm hauling. I can see the tools or whatever. In Truck Simulator, I like this view because I can see the truck. It's just cool to be able to see the vehicle. But in Truck Simulator, it's very hard to steer from that view. At least I find it very difficult to steer from that view. So I end up staying in this view, first person view, most of the time, just so I can drive more accurately. In Truck Simulator, since driving the truck is the main point of the game, they penalize you. You lose money for every little accident, every little time you bump into something. Thankfully, Farming Simulator doesn't care. You can flip your vehicle upside down as long as you can get yourself righted, you're hunky-dory. Everything's fine. In Truck Simulator, if you get in accidents, your vehicles take damage. You have to take them to the shop. You actually have to drive them to the shop to get them repaired and stuff. I mean, they take the driving portion a lot more seriously in the simulation there. Here, driving's a lot more carefree. Like, head-on collision with another car. Hilarious. It's fine. It's just a video game. Your grain doesn't even fall out. Realistically, the way I drive, my grain should be falling out of this trailer. Behind me, there should just be a cloud of, wheat billowing in the wind as I tear down the road at high speed. I could put a cover on here. I guess that's what she'd do in real life. But another $28,000 from selling that. Don't bump into the thing there. Okay. Making fat stacks of cash. Like like all farmers do. Making fat stacks on the farm. You can hear when you're in this area of the map, by the harbor, by the ocean, you can hear seagulls in the background. That's really nice. That's a nice little detail. The custom maps for this game a lot of them are very well done. Like if you play other games and you start playing mods and custom content, a lot of it's, not very good. But at least if you get the maps through the mod hub that's built into the game, where you can, when you start the game and right from the main menu, you go into the mods section there, you get the ones that the developer has chosen to let into their mod hub. If you stick with that, all of these mods, everything from the modded maps to the modded trailers and vehicles and stuff, they're all really high quality. But I mean, this map is fantastic. The amount of detail work and everything they've put into it, like making seagull noises near the port, or the church bells ring periodically when you're near the church that's over by our farm. I mean, just nice little details that you wouldn't expect from an average Joe who's just doing it for free in their spare time, But a lot of these map makers put a lot of effort into it and produce some amazing results. I always have trouble getting up this hill. Even when the trailer is empty. It is a pretty steep hill, if I'm honest, I guess. Yeah, no, it is. It's a steep uphill hill, but I feel like I'm only going 9. Well, now I'm speeding up again. I've got down to 9 miles per hour, which is very slow for the trailer being empty. Maybe realistically, I should be using a more powerful tractor for hauling wheat like this, for hauling the load. The red tractor does have more horsepower than this blue one. I should be using the red one for this, I suppose. But I thought, I usually use the most powerful tractor to be doing the actual farming work. That's why red is spraying for weeds right now. And blue's just driving around town, but is carrying a lot of weight, so... Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Blue tractor is going to get there. It's not getting stuck. It's getting everywhere I need it to go. Maybe it's taking a little longer than Big Red would, but still getting the job done. That's what's important. Farming's not about doing everything at top speed anyway. I'm playing this game mostly to relax. It's not a race. If you want to race, they specifically make games for that purpose. You can get a racing game if that's what you want to do. That's the whole focus of that game then. You're probably not going to drive a tractor in your racing game. You're probably going to be driving some kind of race car, I would imagine. Oh, interesting. In first-person view, it's kind of hard to see the oncoming traffic. This bar is kind of right in the way. That's not great. I know tractors are designed to be road legal, but I guess it's not their primary function. I really feel like I should have the right of way there. This guy was not stopping for me. But I was going straight. He's coming onto the road. Unless the rules are different in Ireland, which I'm sure they are. I mean, we're driving on a different side of the road, so obviously they're using different rules, but seems like he should have stopped. Oh well. I know I'm not supposed to pass. Oh, and we're right near that intersection. I really shouldn't have passed there, but whatever. That guy goes. Well, is that guy going to turn right there? Yeah, he turned right. I could have just waited. If I had just been more patient, he would have moved out of my way. I'm going to go around this guy. Well, that's a big old John Deere tractor. I'm sure it has more horsepower than my dinky little whatever tractor this is. Whatever company makes this tractor. I'm sure they're a very nice company, but just recognize John Deere because that's what my real life farming family relatives tell me. John Deere is their favorite, so I noticed them. I want to buy a John Deere tractor for this map. We just don't have the money yet. In this video game anyway, the cheapest John Deere tractor is pretty expensive compared to the other ones. I'm gonna pass these guys. I really shouldn't stay in the oncoming traffic lane going around that corner there where I couldn't see, but whatever. It's just a video game. This is a really nice field. It's just grass right now, but with all our money, we'd probably be able to buy a new field. It'd be fun to buy a new field closer to the city, kind of away from where we are, so that we could play on a different part of the map. But I don't need to buy a new field yet. I've got field number 3 that I haven't even touched yet. I should start using all the fields I have before I buy new ones. Field 3 is ready to harvest. I need to go harvest field number 3. That's neat. That's a boat launch. I hadn't noticed that before. Oops. Oops. I'm scratching up this very nice stone fence thing here. It's a very nice looking stone fence too. I feel bad running into it, like oops. Whoopsie daisy. I like that I can see my tire tracks from the last 2 times that I've come here to sell. Like I can see I've made this exact loop a couple of times. They won't stay there forever, of course, but it's kind of fun to see it for right now. Alright, are we going to make another 28,000 here? I love how this thing unloads, too. It's got that hydraulic lift there that picks up, that tips the entire trailer up on its side, dumps it out the back. A big part of the appeal of this game is just the equipment. Farming equipment is cool, you know? All these big machines doing all these cool things. I'm always a little surprised. Like, I'm sure with the emphasis on realism in this game that I'm sure they really do that. I'm sure they call them tippers sometimes, I know, and I mean that's why they literally tip. So I'm sure that's what they do in real life. It must be really neat to see. I don't know if I'd enjoy owning a farm in reality, but maybe if I retire and have a bunch of money, it might be fun to get a little farm and drive a John Deere tractor around. Not to actually try to make a living at it, but just for funsies. Just a fun thing to do in my retirement. I don't know, it might be neat. I guess it's not like a ramp to drive your boat into the water like I thought it was, but it's still obviously a place to dock your boat or get on or off it or whatever. The city actually has an awful lot of detail. I mean, considering there's really no reason game-wise to come down this way. I mean, look at this. There's little vegetable stands, little shops. Grumpy looking people. No, none of the people look very happy, but why are you so grumpy? You know, maybe you should take up farming. It's a lot of fun. Farming's very relaxing. But yeah, look at this. Like, there's no reason in the game to come down here. There's nothing to sell or buy or do farming here, but they've got Sam's quality fish and chips. And benches and just all this little detail work. The boats are really neat. I'm just really impressed. Like, look, there's a little bicycle up against this building right by the door where a person who was running inside would put it. Oh, there's a dog! Little dog running around. Careful by the water, doggy. Of course, dogs can swim super good, so probably be fine. I don't know. I mean, that was kind of a waste of time, I guess. But I just wanted to appreciate the little dock or boat launch or whatever it is. And I got caught up in just how detailed it is. And somebody put all of that into this map for no money. They're not getting paid. They're not. This is a custom map made by just some person who loves the game. Obviously enjoyed making the map too. I don't think you'd put that much detail into it if you weren't enjoying it. So, well, it was just neat. Just really neat. So we got $90,000 and probably going to wrap up the episode. Oops, I turned on one of the mods I've been experimenting with. We're probably going to end the episode here. Didn't really do a whole lot this episode, really. Weeded. We weeded 2 fields. And we drove back and forth between the farm and town. It's kind of all we did, but you know, we made $85,000. So right there, I mean, in that sense, we accomplished a lot. But I had a nice time. I had a really nice time with this episode. It was fun just driving into town and chit-chatting. Last time trying to get up this hill. I wonder if there is another roundabout. Well, no, this is really the best way to go, I think. I don't see any way to get around this hill. There are those church bells I was talking about earlier. Anyway, have to decide what to spend that money on. With $90,000, excuse me, we could afford what I'd kind of like to do is get horses. You can get the small horse place for horses to live, a stable maybe. You can get a small horse stable that can hold up to 8 horses for $50,000. And individual horses are $5,000 apiece. So with $90,000, we could buy the stable and a few horses and have money left over for operating expenses as we prepare the fields for another harvest. We get horses, we need oats and hay and waters. We'd have to buy gotta figure out where I want to put this trailer, I guess. Where I want to park it. Won't need it for a little while, not until we're ready to do another harvest. So we'd also have to buy a water tanker so we could deliver water to the horses. They aren't very expensive. 20,000 maybe? I don't remember exactly. We've already got a lawnmower for cutting grass, but we have to turn it into hay before we can feed it to the horses. Oats are easy. We can grow oats. We can just plant oats. I think I may have already done that in anticipation. Yeah, oats is what I planted in this field. So we've already got oats growing to feed to horses. So have to make sure we can afford to get the watering doohickey, but and maybe a thing to make hay, but it is possible we could start getting horses. We have enough money. Anyway, I'll figure out what I want to do for next time. Thank you for watching episode 10, everybody, of Shamrock Valley. Thank you, and good night.